I am doing Svadhyaya Dhyana, so I will not give. The principle is that if you are giving at this level, self-knowledge, you will automatically give at all levels of your personality. Now, when you give, what happens? You benefit the most. First is, you become successful. Prosperity rains down on you. The more you give, the more you receive. The more comes to you, unsought, unsolicited, unasked for. Physics corroborates this. You know, an object, I can see quite a few of you are wearing blue shirts. What makes it blue? When white light falls on it, it absorbs all colors, all the other colors except blue. So we all know that blue is the only color it does not have, right? So when you look at it, what do you say? Do you say it is violet, indigo, green, yellow, orange, red? No. You say it is blue. Has it ever occurred to you, how is it that the color all the colors that it grabs, it seems to lose, and the only color that it gives back, it seems to gain? So is it in life. The more you give, the more you gain. You know, there was a business conference, international business conference, in which there was a coffee break. So 3 of the participants decided to engage in some small talk. So they were discussing how much of their profits they share with God, meaning how much of their profits they give in charity. So there was this Englishman who said, you know, I draw a big cross on the ground and I collect all my profits. I throw them up into the air. Whatever falls within the cross belongs to God, so I give it in charity. What falls outside the cross is mine. I help myself to it. The Arab said something similar, except that he said, I draw a crescent on the ground, I throw my profits in the air, whatever falls within the crescent is God's, is given to charity, what falls outside is mine. Now came the turn of the Indian. So he was scratching his head because he had never given in charity. But Indians are intelligent, you know, they're quick thinkers. So very soon he hit upon an idea and he looked at the other 2 and said, hey, you guys, you're petty-minded. You're small-minded. So they say, why? He looks at them and says, don't you know everything belongs to God? So they looked very puzzled. And they asked him, you mean you give everything to God? He says, yeah, everything belongs to God, so I give everything. But how do you live? He says, you don't understand. It's like this. I collect all my profits. Everything belongs to God. I throw it up into the air. Whatever God wants, he keeps. What falls down is mine. Try that next time. So that's what it is. You are happy. All givers are happy. You know, take a look at 2 children, very little children. And they're fighting over crayons or little pictures or some little insignificant thing. And between the 2 children, usually if they're siblings, I don't know how it happens, but it happens. One of them is a giver, the other fellow is a taker. So one gives, the little girl says, you want it? Okay, you can have it. And when she says you can have it and gives it to the sister, watch the expression on her face. She's happy. She's thrilled. Even though the other sister is taking it away from her, she's giving it willingly, happily. The sister who takes from her, watch the expression on her face. Before the sister can give it, she drags it, pulls it away. It's mine. Frown on the face. Now, work backwards. To the extent we are unhappy, agitated, stressed, to that extent we must understand that we are not givers. We're takers. All takers are agitated, unhappy, stressed out. And you grow spiritually. What we mean by spiritual growth is desires drop. When you learn to connect with other people, when you learn to serve other people, when you learn to take other people's interests into consideration, the focus shifts from just me, me, and me to all of us together. So this selfishness gets diluted, and that's how desires drop. You learn to accommodate other people's desires. You give preference to other people's desires. You grow spiritually. So it's a win-win situation. On the other hand, when you take, what happens? The result of taking is you lose. It is not because the stock market has crashed that your wealth has gone down. It is merely because you have been taking all your life that you lose. That's a law. So when you grab and take and take and take from society, society decides, or the nature decides, to take it back from you. But it takes it back with what we call as divine interest, which is much more backbreaking than a moneylender's interest. So watch out. Even when you have it, you can't enjoy it because your focus is on how much more can I grab. All takers have a problem in their relationships. They can't get along with their family members. They can't get along with anyone because, see, let's face it, all of us are takers. So naturally there is maximum conflict in a unit where everyone wants to grab. In this scenario, even if there is one giver, the giver is happy. It distorts your thinking because your thinking becomes so restricted, so confined just to yourself, that sooner or later you make disastrous decisions. Like for instance, when you invest money, you may make the wrong decision. You're so attached to money, you're so obsessed with money that you make the wrong decisions and you lose in the end. And most importantly, desires increase. So it's a lose-lose situation all the way. So therefore, I'm sorely tempted to go to, what do they call? Fund managers, portfolio managers, people who recommend investment, where to park your money. I'm sorely tempted to go to them and say, include charity as one of your options. You know why? Not because I'm waiting for charity. Don't get it wrong. But because the only way of enhancing your wealth is by charity. Therefore, every civilization in the world, every religious denomination in the world has enforced giving. There are many communities in which they give a flat fee. There's a certain percentage of your income you have to give to charity. But in the Indian system, they've understood that it doesn't come by external forcing. Because what you'll do is you'll dodge. It's like income tax. The moment you are forced to pay income tax, you dodge it. And the Indian psyche is expert at that. Wherever there is a law, we'll first look at how to break the law. They say it doesn't work. It has to be voluntary. It has to come from within. Think about it. For now, we were on verse 23, where we took a look at the portion, 3 kinds of action and actor. So we have taken a look at sattvic actor. And now we move on to verse 24, which speaks of rajasic actor.